It's the season finale of the 5th season of the ADAC GT4 Germany. We are at the Hockenheimring for the first of 2 races this weekend. We're late in the afternoon. The light is starting to fade, so the formation lap has been started already. The cars are getting ready for race 11 of the season. Will this be the race where the new champions are crowned? Because pole position has gone the way of Hugo Sasser. He and Mike David Ortman, who lead the championship. David Yarn starts alongside Nicola Moller-Madsen, and Marit Bachmann line up on row 2 of the grid. On row 3, Mark Di Fulgentio, the only driver, along with Dennis Bulatov, who can challenge the championship, and Max Kronberg for company. On row 4, it's Pavel Lefterov and Jan Philipp Springob, who line up alongside each other. And on row 5, Tim Reiter and Celia Martin, part of the all-female team, with each other for company. Fabio Rauer is in car 84 for this race, and Nico Hanke joins him on row 6. Row 7, Christian Koch and Daniel Gregor, the young sensation in GT4 this year. Alex Hartvig, another of the up-and-coming stars, has Max Osten for company, and Mo Ritson a long way back on row 9 with Emil Yedrum alongside him. On row 10, Joachim Bolting and Sami Matti Trogum line up alongside each other, and on row 11 is Mikael Makish in a different team for this event, and Nicholas Leutweiler, who line up alongside each other. Eric Scalvini and Marcus Auschele line up on row 12, and on row 13, Dominic Schack and Matthias Nuramo line up alongside each other. Row 14 is Marat Kairov and Damon Suzishin, and on row 15, bringing up the rear, they were disqualified from the qualifying session this morning for Parc Ferme procedures and infringements. It's Rodrigo Almeida. A lot of work to do there. You can see there are 43 points between Dennis Bulatov and Hugo Sasser and Mike David Ortman. He is the only driver who can catch Sasser and Ortman, but he needs to finish in front of them in this race. And Sasser and Ortman starting on pole position, it is going to be critical. Bulatov, who is sharing with Mark Di Fulgentio. Mark Di Fulgentio has done a good job in qualifying, but he is down in 5th place on the grid. He needs to get in front. Basically, bottom line is Dennis Bulatov must finish 1st or 2nd, and he needs Hugo Sasser and Mike David Ortman to score no points for this championship to be taken into tomorrow. So the #1 car, the defending champions, are in a very strong position. They are looking to make history, to become the first driver duo to ever successfully defend a championship in ADAC GT4 Germany. They are in the best possible position in which to do it. It's a slightly shortened race. It's gonna be 50 minutes plus 1 lap. We're waiting for the 5 red lights to go out, and we are go. It's Hugo Sasser who leads into turn 1. David Yarn following behind, Nikolai Moller-Madsen in there as well. We are at the Hockenheimring. Lots of overtaking opportunities, but track limits might be an issue. One of the Hofer racing by Bonk Motorsport BMWs goes spinning at the back. David Yarn challenging on the outside of turn 2. Does he get together with Hugo Sasser? It is David Yarn who goes into the lead. Hugo Sasser just needs to bring it home in the points to win this championship. He needs to take no risks whatsoever. Car 23 under investigation for a false start. That's Pavel Lefterov, which is a shame because he has made great progress from his starting position. In towards the hairpin they come once again. Are they all going to make it around this 180-degree turn? It's heavy braking. Around they come. There's one of the Motorsport Aston Martins going very deep into the corner. It looks like they all make it now. They gaggle a cars, headlights blazing out of the hairpin. They come around towards turn 7, and then heavy braking once again. It's the left-hander into turn 8. David Yarn leading the way. Hugo Sassa into second place. Pavel Lefterov, what a great start for him. He's into third, but he is under investigation for a false start. Also under investigation, Eric Scalvini in the number 24 car. So 2 cars under investigation for a false start. But Pavel Lefterov, what a great start for him, looking for his win, along with Stefan Bastanciev, looking for their first win in the ADAC GT4 Germany. There is David Yarn, an experienced pilot. Now, Hugo Sassa has dropped back somewhat. He's okay, though, for his championship. He is carrying an extra 15 kilos of success ballast as a result of winning last time out at the Red Bull Ring. But as long as he stays in front of car number 4, as long as he picks up points, he will be okay. Now that is the Allied racing car. I think that's Alex Hartwig, who is running wide and has rejoined, but it looks like he has got dramas as well. It was Marat Kyrov, the car that spun in the BMW, and yes, it is Alex Hartwig in the 22 car who goes out wide. He goes into the gravel trap as well. It was contact with car 18, Emil Yedrum, and he makes an impact with the tyre barrier. Now, it's a fairly side-on impact, so you'd like to think that the car is going to be all right. Now, car 24 and car 23, Pavel Lefterov. Can he get a break? No, he can't. A penalty lap. He's going to have to pass through the penalty box because of a false start. That's going to drop him back down through the order. It's David Yarn who leads the way. Nikolai Moller-Madsen, Pavel Lefterov with that penalty hanging over him. And the incident that we just saw, Emil Yedrum and Alex Hartwig under investigation for coming together out on the track. Now, I think Lefterov has already taken his penalty because he dropped back through the pack. You can see there, Pavel Lefterov, they're meant to pass through their pit boxes and not break rank until they pass the start-finish line. He had broken rank quite early on. They have picked up an awful lot of interest from the race stewards, have the drivers of car 23, that is Pavel Lefterov and Stefan Bastanciev. You can see that is what is classed primarily as a jump start, and that is why he's going to have to visit the penalty box. So there is car 23, and also you see in the background the orange and white car 24. Eric Scalvini did exactly the same. It's a tough lesson to learn, but the stewards are being very strict on that. This was Marat Kyrov at the beginning. He's sharing with Gabriel Piana, and you can see the car getting turned around, facing in the wrong direction. Too many cars into one spot, and there he goes. Although, having said that, it looks as though he probably went all on his own. He's rejoined at the back, so he's going to have to make up a bit of ground from there, but no damage that I can see. So, after what was a very lively first couple of laps, it's David Yarn who leads the way. Nikolai Moller-Madsen in second. Championship leader Hugo Sassa in third. Jan-Philipp Springhob in fourth place, and Mark Di Fulgentio, the only driver who could challenge the championship, in fifth. Nikolai Moller-Madsen has a little look to the inside of David Yarn into the hairpin. You can overtake under braking coming into the hairpin. Also an opportunity to overtake on acceleration out of the hairpin. But David Yarn seems to have it covered off. Both David Yarn, Nikolai Moller-Madsen, very experienced pilots. Hugo Sassa in third place, the defending champion, and looking to become the first driver, along with his co-driver as well, to successfully defend a championship in the ADAC GT4 Germany. There's Pavel Lefterov coming back after his visit to the penalty box. This is a nice replay here. You can see how close it's possible to get. Did they make contact? I don't think they did. David Yarn, Nikolai Moller-Madsen, first and second place, but Yarn, he's got this under control at the moment. Nikolai Moller-Madsen in the number 6 car, the 2020 champion in ADAC GT4 Germany. He's not in the hunt for the championship this year, so they are gunning for glory. The driver that just needs to finish in the points, Hugo Sassa, is who we are on board with at the moment. The race has been shortened because of the fading light. It was always the plan that it was going to be a slightly shorter race, so 50 minutes rather than the usual 60. There will be a pit window that will open 20 minutes into the race. It will remain open for 10 minutes and will close 30 minutes into the race. during that pit window, every car will need to visit the pits for a mandatory stop and a driver change. Car 32 has been shown the black and white flag for pushing another car. That is Nicky Leutweiler, the Swiss driver for ADAC WNS Motorsport. ADAC WNS entering another car for this championship, as that is the number 4 car coming under pressure. So Mark Di Fulgentio, who is driving very much for Dennis Bulatov's championship here, under pressure is Marek Buchmann, and it's great to have Marek Buchmann in the number 19 car. He is very rapid indeed, and he jumps into the number 19 car, replaces Leon Erger for Pro Sport Racing, but he is very quick indeed. He took his first ever ADAC GT4 win at the Nürburgring last year, and he is very fast in that car, and he is proving it by challenging the car that is in second place in the championship. Into the evening sun, it is David Jahn who leads the way. Nikolai Moller-Madsen, Hugo Sasser just in the background, just doing what he needs to do at the moment. Jan-Philipp Springhoff just behind him. So Jan-Philipp Springhoff in car 85 pushing forwards. Mark Di Fulgentio behind him. Now, no further action between car 22 and car 18. That was perceived by our race stewards to have been a racing incident. So Emil Jedrum and Alex Hartvig live to fight another day. David Jahn leading the way. They look like championship challengers earlier on in the season. They've taken 1 win already. That was at Zandvoort this year, but fell off the championship hunt. That car there is the one that has taken all the beating this year. Hugo Sasser in the Pro Sport Racing Aston Martin. It has been very much the weapon of choice, and in the hands of Mike David Ortman and Hugo Sasser has proven to be a fairly rapid car. So here comes Sasser. Springhoff in the background. That is one of the Mercedes MGs going wide. That is Fabio Rauer. Now he is sitting in for Patrick Steinmetz, and a real shame Patrick Steinmetz is unwell and is unable to take part in this weekend. We say get well soon, Patrick Steinmetz. We look forward to seeing you in the ADAC next year, but it's Fabio Rauer, who was in the 83 car last time out of the Red Bull Ring. Well, he's moved across to the 84 car, both in CV Performance Group, but doing a little bit of rallycross, and that is not the quickest way to get around this circuit. On board with Jan-Philipp Springhoff, a solid drive in the 3rd of the CV Performance Mercedes. He is sharing a Simon Connor Prim. They are a potent driver combination. Again, they were fancied as championship challengers earlier on in the season, but a bit of bad luck mid-season has seen them drop back. But it's Nikolai Moller-Madsen who challenges for the lead. He sees a gap on the inside of David Jahn. David Jahn goes to shut the door into turn 14. They come, the 2 cars bouncing off each other. Nikolai Moller-Madsen briefly has a nose in front, but he can't make it stick. Now he has the inside line. Out of turn 17, they're going to come along the pit straight. It's going to be advantage Moller-Madsen. Porsche versus Porsche, but Jahn somehow claws it back around the outside. Hugo Sasser gets involved as well as Jan-Philipp Springhoff. What a great battle. Mark Di Fulgentio in there as well. He needs to finish this race. He needs to get in front of Hugo Sasser, so he's going to be pushing hard. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars all running together into turn 1. Mark Di Fulgentio at the back of that queue, along with Marek Buchmann as well in car 19. Brilliant stuff. Then a gap back to Max Kronberg in the number 30, the Porsche behind them. But it is Porsche 1 and 2 at the moment, but this is in the hands of David Jahn and Nikolai Moller-Madsen, the challenge to 3rd place. This is Jan-Philipp Springhoff on the outside of Hugo Sasser. Sasser has the tighter line into the hairpin, and he's able to hold on to that position. Keep an eye on Mark Di Fulgentio. Remember, he needs to get in front to allow Dennis Bulatov to retain the challenge for the championship, so he knows what he's got to do, and he can see his main challenger in front of him. The fight for 3rd place is on. 1st and 2nd, David Jahn, Nikolai Moller-Madsen, then Hugo Sasser, Jan-Philipp Springhoff again picking up a bit of curb. The car jumps up into the air slightly. Hugo Sasser holding on to the 3rd place, just keeping it calm, keeping it collected. And Mark Di Fulgentio there as well. whenever Jan-Philipp Springhoff tries to make the move, he leaves himself vulnerable to Mark De Fulgentio. They're all scrapping behind. This is allowing Max Kronberg to close in as well. Daniel Gregor is behind them now. Mark De Fulgentio to the inside. Jan-Philipp Springhoff, can he find a route past? No, he can't at the moment, but he's going to try the wide outside. Jan-Philipp Springhoff still holding on to the position. How much longer can he hold on? Because Marit Buchmann wants to get involved as well in the other of the Pro Sport Aston Martins. Great stuff going on here. Along the pit straight they come once again. Jan crosses the line. 0.3 of a second ahead of Nikolai Moller-Madsen, Hugo Sasser. Then Jan-Philipp Springhoff, we can see him up ahead of Mark De Fulgentio. That is the number 9 car. There's been some big contact there. Joachim Bolting, this is going to bring out a safety car. The Overdrive Racing Porsche has made a big impact somewhere along the way. He's in the gravel trap. David Jan under pressure. Now Nikolai Moller-Madsen running side by side, but a safety car will be incoming. I am expecting that almost without a doubt. The two cars running side by side, safety car is out. Now who's going to back off here, because the stewards will have something to say about that. The incident that we've seen is under investigation. Now Nikolai Moller-Madsen has taken the lead. David Jan in second place. Now it may well be that he has to give that back if the stewards decide that he took that position after the safety car had been signalled. But at the moment it's Nikolai Moller-Madsen. There's going to be an investigation into that, I expect, but there's also an investigation to car 9, and it has a look as though he might have got together with Eric Scalvini, because there's two very battered looking Porsches, one in the pits and one out on the track. So let's just have a look and let's just see what happened there. Now that is the Pro Sport Aston Martin of Celia Martin going spinning. So that was an unrelated incident that I could see, unless it was something that happened and is in the background. The two cars had got together, so it doesn't look as though anybody's been into the fence, which is good news. This is on board with Mark De Fulgentio. We could see the fighting that was going on ahead. Jan-Philipp Springhoff giving Hugo Sasser a little bit too much attention. Again with Jan-Philipp Springhoff. You can see him on the outside. I'm sure he actually wanted the windscreen wipers to be operating, but you can see with the sun so low down in the sky, shining in the eyes, visibility not necessarily that good with the plastic windscreen diffusing the sunshine. You saw the Mercedes just jumping up slightly as well. So safety car is out. Now the pit window, which was due to open 20 minutes into the race, so we've still got 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So as long as they can clear these cars, then the pit window will probably remain 30 minutes into the race. Nikolai Moller-Madsen still leads the way, so the stewards have clearly decided that he did take the lead legitimately from David Jan before the safety car had come out. Hugo Sasser, if things finish as they are now, he and Mike David Orman will be the champions. Some great graffiti on the door there, some more repeatable than others, but wonderful stuff. The Overdrive Racing team having decorated the car. I think they maybe have had a few guests to decorate the car and mess with the best, lose like the rest. Well, unfortunately, it's probably the latter part of that sentence that has applied in this particular instance, but great to see some great livery and a bit of character on the number 9 car. But I think the driver's all okay. He walks away, so Joachim Bolting, it does mean that Tano Neumann will not get a stint in the seat of that car. They just scored their best result of the season last time out at the Sachsenring. There we say pit stop window will be postponed. So we wondered if that might happen. So while they're clearing this lot up, of course, they don't want the drivers pitting for their mandatory stop and driver change while the safety car is out, because that would unfairly advantage or disadvantage other cars out on the circuit. So everything is put on ice at the moment while we drag what remains of the Overdrive Racing Porsche 718 Cayman out of the gravel trap. The gravel trap doing exactly what it's meant to do. The track's going to take a little bit of sweeping up as well. So I reckon we're going to get a couple of laps behind the safety car here. Now, this gives us an opportunity just to take a little look at the points situation. So, in the Drivers' Championship, if things remain as they are, it will be Hugo Sasser and Mike David Ortmann who will become the champions with one race remaining. Simon Connor Prim is leading the junior standings in the 85 car. If things remain as they are now, well, that gap will extend at the top over Daniel Gregor and Finn Zulauf. We'll need to do some more calculations to see if that will clinch the junior championship. And in the trophy standings, Marat Kairov leads Christian Koch and Tom Kiefer, but of course he had that big moment at the start and is currently in 26th place. He has a 66.5 point lead over Christian Koch and Tom Kiefer. Pro Sport Racing lead Avia WNS Motorsport by 10 points. So if things finish as they are now, that will certainly carry on until tomorrow, because Avia WNS and Motorsport are the team that are fielding the David Young and Janis Fitcher car. So the number 9 car being hauled from the circuit in the evening sunshine. The light is fading here, and it was always going to be a bit tight on the schedule to get this race in. Early on in the week, it was announced that for the first time in the history of ADAC GT4, the race would not cover 60 minutes, and in fact, it would be 50 minutes, which is a sensible decision because we all remember, I think it was Lausitzring a few years ago, where the cars were running in the pitch dark with the headlights on, and basically it was, well, the black car following the black car following the black car, and nobody knew what on earth was going on. Important to think about safety. Also, the spectators on the stands being able to see what's going on. There has been a humongous crowd that have gathered here today as part of the DTM package. We've witnessed GT Masters, we've witnessed Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, the Formula Regional Championship has also been here as well. It has been a proper festival of motorsport for this, the final round of the season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. Also, it's the final round of the season for the DTM and for the GT Masters. All those championships go to tomorrow as well. But Hugo Sasser and Mike David Ortmann would dearly love to get this one put to bed today, and then tomorrow they can race just for glory. They are in a very strong position at the moment because the only person that can challenge them in the championship is Denis Bulatov. He shares the driving duties with Mark Di Fulgentio. Denis Bulatov will jump in the seat of that car after the mandatory stop and driver change, but he has a 43-point deficit to Sasser and Ortmann. There are only 25 points available tomorrow, so you can see there is your confirmation that if things finish as they are now, Sasser and Ortmann will have this championship very nicely put back to bed before we even get to the last race. We're riding on board with Hugo Sasser at the moment, looking calm, looking collected, looking to make history. He and Mike David Ortmann looking to become the first drivers ever to successfully defend a championship in the ADAC GT4 Germany. It is the 5th season of this championship, and it has gone from strength to strength. Many people say this is the highlight of a race weekend because the racing is always good. We love the DTM, we love the GT Masters, but GT4 just seems to be a hell for leather, elbows out, proper hardcore racing, and we are always thoroughly entertained. But Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sasser have come out on top. They've won 4 races this season. That's more than anybody else. Second in the championship, Denis Bulatov, along with Mark Di Fulgentio, has only won 2 races this season. Mark Di Fulgentio, who's jumped in to replace Marcel Lenez mid-season, which is why Denis Bulatov is the only driver of that duo who is able to challenge for the championship. And we wish Marcel Lenez all the best. He's had an operation at the beginning of the year, and he needs to have another operation just to help him relieve his pain. We hope to see him back next year, but get well soon, Marcel Lenez. And once again, get well soon to Patrick Steinmetz, who's also absolutely gutted that he's had to sit out this race weekend, the last of the season. And we look forward to seeing him again next year. Now, we're looking at a few replays here. That was the drifting from Celia Martin in the number 13 car. She's sharing with Fabian Volvent, and that's another of the many Pro Sport racing cars. It's Pro Sport, who are the team that are very much into promoting the talent in GT4 racing. And in the background, you saw the two cars that got together to cause this incident that has brought out the safety car. That was Eric Scalvini and Joachim Bolting. And yes, an awful lot of damage and an awful lot of scuffing up of the gravel as that car is extracted from the circuit. Before we go back to racing, I need to draw your attention to Max Osten, who is driving in the 54 car. He is well, he was the BMW M2 champion last year. He has a new co-pilot this year, and that is Leighton Fury, and we're very excited about that. Leighton Fury and Max Osten, the two cars, the two drivers who have owned the BMW M2 championship over the last 2 years, because Leighton Fury clinched the championship for BMW M2 Cup at Red Bull Ring last time out, and they are sharing the driving duties in the number 54 car. Currently the 54 car is in 8th place in the hands of Max Osten. You saw a graphic that said car 20 and 26 need to change position. So that is Christian Koch and Dominic Schack. Good to have Dominic Schack back. The last time we saw him at the Sachsenring, he'd had a very big impact, brought about a red flag in the second race of the weekend. And good to see he's made a complete recovery. Good to see the track sweepers are out on track, getting this sorted out. I don't have any news of when the pit window will open, but I'm sure we'll find out in a bit. Now, another two cars that have to change position, car 75 and car 5. So that is Daniel Gregor, who has to change positions with Tim Reiter. So that means that Tim Reiter will get back in front of Daniel Gregor. That is for 9th place. So Tim Reiter, Daniel Gregor being told to swap positions. So the stewards, well, they're not sitting on their hands, are they, whilst this safety car period is out, looking at the videos, getting things sorted out. There is the aforementioned safety car being driven, has done many laps here already this weekend at the front of the pack, and hopefully that will be back in very shortly. Important that we get the track cleaned up. The track sweeper is still out at the moment, out on the exit of turn 12, which is where that incident took place. And they want to get the track as clean as possible, because we don't want any more incidents as a result of what we have just seen. Nikolai Moller-Madsen took the lead from David Yarn just as the safety car came out, and he continues on his way at the front of the field. The race is still underway. The clock is still ticking down. The 2020 champion getting past the number 31 of David Yarn just as it came out. Hello, up there. Well, he's waving at us. We're waving back at him, but he can't see us. Our hard-working camera crew who have been bringing us some wonderful images here in the autumn sunshine at the Hockenheimring. There you go. That's how we get the angles that you see on your TV screens. And looking back from the hairpin, which is the scene of about 99% of all the drama here at the Hockenheimring. It is a wonderful part of the circuit. This circuit, which is 4.574 kilometers around. I should have told you that at the start of the show, really, shouldn't I? 17 turns, 9 to the right and 8 to the left. A popular track, and the traditional, now traditional season closer for the ADAC GT4 Germany. The sun is starting to set, which is why we need to keep this thing going. We've still got 26 minutes plus 1 lap, but the safety car is in on this lap. So it will be Nikolai Moller-Madsen who will back the pack up, and he will try and catch David Yarn snoozing if he possibly can. Hugo Sasser, if things remain as they are and he stays in that 3rd place, he will become the champion along with Mike David Ortman. There's car 23, Pavel Lefterov, after such a good start, had that visit to the penalty box. They do seem to attract the attention of the stewards to Pavel Lefterov and Stefan Bostanchiev. Hey, but that's what racing is, exploring the limits, and they continue to push on. We'll just tell you, the Overdrive Racing team have a movie coming out. It's going to be very, very interesting. The premieres are happening very soon. Check it out. I know that Pavel Lefterov and Stefan Bostanchev have been key players in that movie. So keep an eye out on your socials for that. And I think it's called First Lap, and well worth checking out. Right, the cars are running nose to tail. Safety car is about to peel off into the pit lane. There it goes into the distance. And now Nikolai Molomadsen backs the pack up. The new pit stop window will be between 18:02 and 18:12. So in a minute and 10 seconds, the pit window will open for 10 minutes because it is currently 6 o'clock local time. It's now 1 minute past 6 local time. So in 1 minute's time, the pit window will open. So next time around, the cars will have the opportunity to pit, but they all must pit within 10 minutes of the window opening. And now Nikolai Molomadsen, he's on the power. He's done a good job because David Jan has seen a gap open up between himself and that second place. Hugo Sasser also struggling a bit to get out the blocks. He's instantly coming under pressure from Jan-Philipp Springer. Martin Fulgentio in the back of his mind, he knows he's got an awful lot of work to do to hand the car over to Denis Bulatov to keep him in the championship. Challenges further back. Daniel Gregor once again trying to find a route past Tim Reiter after being told to give that position back. He does exactly that into turn 2. In the background, Pavel Lefterov trying to follow through in his wake, but Tim Reiter shuts the door in his face. Here comes our race leader, Nikolai Molomadsen, David Jan, Hugo Sasser, 1, 2, 3. Jan-Philipp Springer, having been challenging for third place, now coming under pressure. It's Mercedes versus Mercedes. Mark Di Fulgentio on the outside into the hairpin. He's going to try and go the long way around. Out of the hairpin they come. Springer slams the door in his face, and he carries on in the positions that they are in. Martin Fulgentio in that 5th place, still pushing hard. Marit Botman behind him, then Max Kronberg, Max Hosten in 8th place, Tim Reiter behind him, and then Daniel Gregor rounding out the top 10. Then we're followed by Pavel Lefterov, Nico Hanka, Fabian Rohr and Mo Ritson in 14th place ahead of Sami Matti Trogan. Those are the point-scoring cars at the moment, but it could all change. Still 22 3/4 minutes plus 1 lap. There is the 75 car putting the pressure on. Daniel Gregor still the fighting up and down the pack. Further back, the over race by Bong Motorsport, BMW fighting, but this is for the lead. David Yard trying to come back at Nikolai Molomadsen. Madsen shuts the door at the moment. Into turn 17, they come out onto the pit straight. Hugo Sasser peels off into the pit lane, ready to hand over to Mike David Ortman, but the first and the second, they've been running side by side. Out onto turn 2 they come. So the first to blink, Hugo Sasser into the pits. Mike David Ortman on standby, ready to take over. They clinch the championship this afternoon. They're looking very strong for that. This is the race for the lead. Nikolai Molomadsen with David Yarn tucked up behind. Many cars now coming in to the pits. That's the number 30 car coming in as well. Max Kronberg handing over to Hendricks still. So a lot of cars coming in, but this is the critical one. Hugo Sasser making way for Mike David Ortman in championship leading car. The notes are exchanged. And the outgoing driver helps the incoming driver to get buckled up in the car. And they limit to how many crew members are allowed to work on the car. So it is the job of the outgoing driver. So I hope we might be able to understand something, but that's the 48 car. So that is Yevgen Sokolovsky, who's taken over from Damon Sazishin. So Damon Sazishin, the popular Canadian driver. So 2 Pro Sport cars into the pitch. You can see at the top of your screen, Hugo Sasser, his work is done for today. It's now down to Mike David Ortman to bring it home. Now, you may wonder why the cars are stationary in the pits for as long as they are. That is because there is a minimum pit stop time of 95 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. They cannot go below that time. If they do, they will pick up a penalty. So the 95 seconds, they want it to hit 95 as they get to the pit exit. And it is Mike David Ortman who heads back out on track with the Mercedes behind him into the pits. That is the 31 car, David Jan, getting ready to hand over to Janis Fischer, the driver who's been racing at GT Masters in the race prior to this, so his arms are going to be tired when he finishes tonight. He will now be on standby. In fact, Janis Fischer finished on the podium in the GT Masters all but an hour ago before this race. So in comes Mark Di Fulgencio. Now Denis Bulatov getting ready to jump into the seat of that car. Here is Janis Fischer. He exits, well, David Jan exits the car, takes his seat insert with him. That's not a cushion for comfort. That is because the drivers are of a different build and they need to fit into the seat. The seat is pulled forward slightly, and now Janis Fischer gets ready to jump into the car. We will see where he emerges from the pits. Not everybody has come in for their mandatory stop yet. Nikolai Moller-Madsen is out on track still, and we'll see where he comes out after Moller-Madsen has been in for his stop. In the meantime, Jan-Felix Springhoff in the number 85 car has now handed over to Simon Connor Prim. So it's Simon Connor Prim in the 85 car behind Mike David Altman. So this is the early stopper. So Mike David Altman has remained, as we saw after the pit stop, ahead of car 85, car 30 there as well, with Hendrik still at the wheel. So Simon Connor Prim, a very rapid driver, fancies his chances to get past the Aston Martin. Of course, they're a long way down the pack at the moment because several drivers have not come, or many of the drivers have not come into the pits yet for their mandatory stop. It is still Nikolai Moller-Madsen who leads the way, but he will still need to come in for his mandatory stop. Here comes the champion-elect, Mike David Altman, the outgoing champions, and they hope to be the incoming champions. Simon Connor Prim picking up a lot of curb in the Mercedes, but becoming vulnerable to the number 30 car behind. Hendrik still looks to the outside, looks to the inside. Simon Connor Prim shuts the door in his face and still remains in that position. This will be for points-paying positions once the pit window has closed. Still more cars come into the pits, but our leader remains out. No, he doesn't. Nikolai Moller-Madsen into the pits. That has a lead to Pavel Lefterov. Look at this fight. It is for 15th place at the moment, but it will be for potentially even a podium position once the pit window has closed. Simon Connor Prim positioning the car exactly where he needs to. Pavel Lefterov is our new race leader. It is the 84 car in second place of Fabio Rao. But look at this fight that is continuing. This will be for a significant position once this race has finished. Simon Connor Prim, the driver that we saw in GT Masters at the Nürburgring, defending for all he's worth from Hendrik still in car number 30. Into the evening sun we come. Pavel Lefterov remains out on track at the moment. Nikolai Moller-Madsen is into the pit lane. He will be handing over to Ivan Ekelshik, who will be taking over the driving duties of that car. The remaining cars are coming through. There is Fabio Rao coming through your picture as well. Lots of competition going on, but this one here, it will be for potentially a podium position, certainly around the 4th or 5th place once the pit window is closed, as long as they keep it on the track. Mike David Altman is able to break clear of them whilst this fight is going on. Pavel Lefterov still remains out on track as the leader of this race, but out of the pits comes Ivan Ekelshik. Where will he be? He is going to be ahead of the 31 car, so he stayed in front as a result of the pit stops, but he's got to get up to speed. The driver of the 31 car, Janis Fischer, well, he's already warmed up in GT Masters this afternoon, and he fancies his chances to get past the car number 6. Even Ekelshik looking vulnerable as they head along the parabolica up towards the hairpin. It'll be the heavy braking. Now, where will Janis Fischer go? I bet he'll go to the outside as they head into the corner. No, he won't. He'll go to the inside. Under braking, he sees a gap there, a big gap. Can he get it slowed down? Yes, he can. He steals the position away from Ivan Ekelshik. This could be potentially for the race win once the pit stop window has closed. But Janis Fischer now getting in front of car number 6 and instantly putting a gap between him and the identical Porsche behind him. We're looking at a replay here as they're headed into the hairpin under the braking, and Ivan Ekelshik, a less experienced driver, left a big gap on the inside. Simon Connor Prim, you can see him still going hammer and tongs with Hendrik still behind them. So Pavel Lefterov still remains out on track at the moment. He's still got some more time, 18:12, so he's still got another 2 minutes before he has to come into the pits for his mandatory stop. Now this is significant. It's Denis Bulatov who's in front of Mike David Allman. That's what he needed to do, but still, if the race finishes as it is now, it will still be Allman and Sasa who win the race. But Denis Bulatov has found a route in front of the cars, and he's doing everything that he can, everything that's within his hands to try and take this championship into the race tomorrow. It is a stretch. There's even Ekelschik who leaves a gap on the inside. Denis Bulatov is through. Mike David Allman follows in his wake. Pavel Lefterov still out on track at the moment. Celia Martin into second, but still to stop. The first to the stoppers is Janis Fischer. Denis Bulatov into a net second place. They really worked the pit strategy well there, but his main championship challenger, Mike David Allman, is not too far behind him. Even Ekelschik coming under pressure from the defending champions in ADAC GT4 Germany. In the background is Leighton Fury. Welcome to the ADAC GT4, Leighton Fury. I think a 6th place. Well, if you could bring it home in the top 6, you'd be pretty happy with that at the moment. Don't get involved in the championship battle, though. Mike David Allman running alongside Leighton Fury. The two cars running together out towards turn 7 into the evening sunshine. Once again, is Leighton Fury in front. Mike David Allman, he does not want to record a DNF, especially with Denis Bulatov making progress up through the pack. There is somebody who went very wide. You can see the debris flung up to you. Would that be Simon Conner-Prim by any chance? He's been in the battle all afternoon, hasn't he? He goes wide. Let's have another look here. Well, he manages to avoid the BWT board just. He rejoins, and this is the ongoing feud with Hendrik Still that has been raging on for lap after lap, using all the track and a little bit more. A black and white flag has been shown to car 23, Pavel Lefterov, for multiple track limit infringements. So the stewards, once again, they do like to keep 23 in their sights. The car that is leading the race at the moment. Now, the pit window, 18:12 is when it was due to close, and so it should be into the pits now for Pavel Lefterov. Just looking to see where he is. Yes, he is. So Stefan Bostanchiev will be the driver that takes the wheel of car 23. So they've come in to the pits at the last possible moment. Fortunately, I don't think they missed the pit window. It was a pretty close call, I think. Definitely running the gauntlet there. So there is Stefan Bostanchiev, who comes out on the track, having taken over from Pavel Lefterov. The graphics update, it is Janis Fischer who is the race leader, the only driver who can challenge for the championship. Denis Bulatov is in second, ahead of Ivan Ekelschik, but that will not be enough because Mike David Allman in 5th place is fighting for position. He's got Hendrik Still, who's trying to steal that 5th place away from him, but Mike David Allman just needs to get a handful of points. He just needs 7 points today and tomorrow, and he and Hugo Sasa will be the champions. So don't get involved in the battles you don't need to. Car 30, once again, Hendrik Still in front, but you tell a racing driver to back out of it. They don't know the meaning of the words. Simon Conner-Prim wants to get involved as well. He's in 7th place. Raphael Renhofer in the number 19 car, the very impressive newcomer this year into the ADAC GT4 Germany in the Pro Sport Racing Aston Martin. He's there in the background as well, looking at a replay here. And Hendrik Still, well, he's been in the battles all afternoon, hasn't he? Going round the outside of Mike David Allman and falling back into the clutches of the 85 car as well. Simon Conner-Prim ahead of them, the very impressive Leighton Fury. Right, so this is a replay once again of Mike David Allman trying to get that position back. So Janis Fischer leads the way. Denis Bulatov, even Ekelschik, good job from him, the driver who is gaining more experience with each race. But how much longer can he hold off Hendrik Still and Mike David Allman? Mike David Allman just there in the background. Leighton Fury up into 3rd place on his debut in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Before the event, he said, well, I'll be happy just to finish a race and maybe pick up some points. If he can pick up a podium, he and Max Osten will be ecstatic. Now, even Eccleschick coming under more pressure. Hendrick still. It is once again Porsche versus Porsche into the hairpin, the heavy braking, and even Eccleschick, he has the faster line. He goes to shut the door, and Hendrick still. Mike David Ortmann there as well. Simon Prim just waiting in the wings. We've still got about 10.5 minutes, just over 10.5 minutes, plus 1 lap remaining of this race. Look at even Eccleschick. He slides the car around the corner, but in so doing, leaves a gap for Hendrick still to come through, and now still takes that position away. But Eccleschick, he comes back at him. Great stuff. We're riding on board with Simon Prim, who has the best seat in the house of this battle. He's looking at Mike David Ortmann ahead of him, and even Eccleschick and Hendrick still. But Janis Fincher leads the way by 1.5 seconds from Denis Bolotov. And if the race finished now, this would not be enough for Bolotov to take the championship challenge into tomorrow. We're having another look at this Porsche versus Porsche. And I think even Eccleschick, a driver who has improved significantly as this season has gone on. At the beginning of the season, he wouldn't have been involved in battles like that, but now he's getting down and dirty with it, door handling it with car number 13. It's wonderful stuff here at the Hockenheimring, the penultimate race of the season, and nobody is giving up, just driving for the fun of it. They're all out there fighting for position, and that was a car that gets together Tom Wood. I think that was Leon Vassather at the wheel of the number 5 car, and Tom Wood has got involved in that, and it's under investigation by our race steward. So Tom Wood took over from Mo Ritson, the British duo who have enjoyed their time in the ADAC GT4 Germany. They're carrying a bit of success ballast on account of the fact they finished 3rd last time out at the Sachsenring, and they have been enjoying their time very much, but not so now because the 15 car retires to the pits. And now Simon Prim, he knows that Mike David Ortmann is going to be defending for all he's worth. He doesn't want to get involved in any dramas. Rafael Renhofer is there as well, but Simon Prim around the outside of Mike David Ortmann, and that is for 6th place. So if the race finishes now, it will still be championship to Sasa and Ortmann. This is why Ortmann needs to not get involved, just bring it home. Denis Bolotov in 2nd place. He's doing everything that he can to take this championship to tomorrow, but Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sasa are less than 8.5 minutes plus 1 lap away from making history in the ADAC GT4 Germany. This is the view from Mike David Ortmann. Headlights on, the sun going down on the horizon on this autumnal day. Ahead of him, Simon Prim. He would do well to let him get away, but you try telling him to do that, it's not going to happen. You see Ferdinand Winter in the 84 car. He's taking it from Fabio Rao, so he has also joined this battle. Stefan Bostanciev is just behind them as well. Bostanciev, you just saw him going wide out of the turn, out onto the grass. I think he's gathered it all up, kept it all together, but a wild ride for car 23. There he is, and behind him is Leon Vassather after that moment we saw earlier on. And then it's the number 66 car with Philip Viskirchen. Great to welcome Philip Viskirchen to the ADAC GT4 Germany. And now Stefan Bostanciev, he can't hold off Leon Vassather and the mighty BMW with all the grunt, although try telling Stefan Bostanciev that, but he's challenging along the parabolica. The 2 cars running side by side out towards the hairpin. Bostanciev is going to have the outside line under the braking into the corner. Vassather in front. You can see the championship prediction if things remain as they are. Bostanciev now coming under attack from Viskirchen behind him, so he's leaving himself vulnerable as he tries to attack the number 5 car. But great stuff from Viskirchen, the number 66 car for MX Motorsport. Great to have him on board along with his co-driver Marcus Aichela, who was in the first stint of the car, but they have proven to be really good, and it's great to have MX Motorsport here. This is a replay of that was Stefan Bostanciev going wide out of turn 1. You can see the dirt being picked up into the air. I think the splitter has, wow, look at the debris from other cars that have crashed there. Lucky not to get a puncture. Also, a bit of contact there. Josef Knob, who's taken over from Rodrigo Almeida, the car that had to start from the very back of the pack, getting together with car number 16 as well. So lots of drama up and down the pack. A driver is still fighting for position. The debris goes flying in all directions, and we still continue with a little under 6 minutes of this race remaining. Brilliant stuff here. So Nicky Leutwiler is in the number 32 car. We haven't actually said anything about him yet at the moment, and he handed over to Leo Pichler. But here comes our race leading battles. It's Janis Fischer, Dennis Bulatov, Leighton Fury, Henrik Still, Ivan Ekelschik at the front of that queue there, who is now under pressure, Simon Conner-Prim, who's now broken clear of Mike David Altman. Altman still defending for all he's worth, but it's his teammate who's behind. Will Raphael Renhofer be kind to him? It's very hard to back out of it, but there is a championship at stake. Behind them, Max Janssen in the number 34 car, Ferdinand Winter rounding out the top 10. The two Pro Sport Racing Aston Martins running together at the moment in 7th and 8th place. Behind them, Max Janssen in the number 34 car. He's taken over from Nico Hanke, another driver duo who have been so successful this year in that BMW. 4 3/4 minutes remaining in this race. 4 3/4 minutes between Mike David Altman and Hugo Sasser winning their championship, retaining their championship. There is Ferdinand Winter. They're fighting away in 10th place. Leon Vasserthur getting involved as well. Raphael Renhofer, who took part in his first race this year, has proven to be very successful. To the inside goes car 30. Even Ekelschik fighting back in the background. Simon Conner-Prim, this is for 4th place. So at the moment it's Henrik Still who has that 4th place. Everybody lined up behind Simon Conner-Prim, even Ekelschik, Mike David Altman, Raphael Renhofer, all lined up. Max Janssen at the Max Janssen even at the back of that queue. But Henrik Still in 4th place. Leighton Fury has broken clear. He is a little ahead of this battle, so not getting involved in this particular queue of cars in the last of the podium positions. But look at this for 4th place. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, all running together on the same bit of track. 9th rushing to join as well as Leon Vasserthur in the background. Also Ferdinand Winter. So lots still going on here with 3.5 minutes remaining of this race. Even Ekelschik looking to the inside of Simon Conner-Prim for 5th place. Even Ekelschik, whatever he had for breakfast, well, he should share it around because he has been so improved. He started off this season maybe a little bit timid, but now has really started to up his game. He was given the instruction to fall back. Car 30 to fall back behind car 6. So the stewards getting involved. Henrik Still had to fall back behind even Ekelschik. And that was a message that's popped up on our screen. So I don't know if that had happened earlier or not. And yeah, that happened a few minutes ago. So I think that has all happened. So as you see them on the track is the way that they are and the way they remain at the moment with just a little over 2.5 minutes remaining. Riding on board with Simon Conner-Prim. He is in 5th place. Ahead of him, Henrik Still. This is for 4th place. Behind Ivan Ekelschik. And then Mike David Altman, who is 2.5 minutes away from a championship win, retaining the championship, now challenging Ivan Ekelschik. Don't put it in the gravel. You want to win this one. You need to stay in the points. Still, Dennis Bulatov in 2nd place. He's about just over a second behind Janis Fischer. Now Raphael Renhofer, Max Janssen going together. This is for 8th place. It's Max Janssen who has the nose in front. Raphael Renhofer down into 9th place at the moment, but still fighting back. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Renhofer looks to the inside of the BMW. The inside will shortly become the outside under the heavy braking of the hairpin. Will Renhofer try to go the long way around? Max Janssen, get it right under the brakes. Don't overdo it. You see the brake disc glowing under this dimly lit circuit as the sun is starting to fade. And it is advantage Max Janssen in the position there with Raphael Renhofer down into 9th place. Less than 90 seconds plus 1 lap remaining of this race. It's Janis Fichter who leads the way into turn 12 at the moment. So it's going to be a couple more laps remaining as the light is fading here at the Hockenheimring. But this is the fight for 4th place that has been raging on. Henrik still has the advantage there at the moment. Simon Konoprim in 5th. Even Eccleshick, Mike David Ortman there as well. This is a replay looking down at the hairpin under braking. The great opportunity, and that is Stefan Bastanchiev getting it all wrong under braking. Practically makes it into downtown Hockenheim. He has to turn it around and rejoin, but he will have lost an awful lot of positions as a result of that. He rejoins, but sees a whole string of cars go sailing through, and that will be a depressing sight with 30 seconds of this race remaining. There is our race leader, Janis Fichter. Denis Bulatov hasn't given up on this yet. He knows that a win and nothing less is what he really needs to take this championship into tomorrow. But the problem for him is Mike David Ortman is in 7th place, and that would be enough to clinch this championship. But Denis Bulatov gonna give it all that he has. 10 seconds remaining of timed racing, so it'll be what remains of this lap plus 1 more. Janis Fichter, who took over from David Yarn, continues on his way. Denis Bulatov, who took over from Mark Fulgentio in 2nd place. The very impressive Leighton Fury alongside the very impressive Max Osten. They are in the last of the podium positions. And then the battle for 4th place. Henrik Still, Simon Konoprim, even Eccleshick, Mike David Ortman and Max Jansen and Rafael Renhofer. They are all still fighting for that position. But this is the one that counts, because not only will this determine a race win, it is going to determine a championship win as well. Janis Fichter still leading the way, coming up to start what will be his last lap. He's into turn 12 at the moment. Denis Bulatov keeping him in sight, but he just hasn't got enough in the tank of that Mercedes to close in on the Porsche in front of him. He's giving it everything he's got. This is his last chance to try and find a route past car 31, but Janis Fichter, who took over from David Yarn, has not put a wheel wrong in this section of the race. He comes out of 17 to start his final lap of the race. Janis Fichter leading the way, Denis Bulatov and Leighton Fury. But Mike David Ortman in 7th place. He and Hugo Sasser are 1 lap away from a historic retaining of the championship in the ADAC GT4 Germany. There is car 66. It's Philip Viskirchen getting involved further back, but we're keeping our eyes further forward. Viskirchen is down into 13th place. Ferdinand Winter is the driver that got past. There is car 20. He is Philip Gogolok, who took over from Dominic Schack, but running a long way back. But still, the battles continue. This is for 12th place on the final lap of the race, though. Round the hairpin for the very last time. It's Janis Fichter. Denis Bulatov doesn't seem to have anything he can bring to the table. The impressive Leighton Fury on his debut in the ADAC GT4 Germany in 3rd place. Henrik Still has fought off the attentions of Simon Konoprim for that 4th place, but into turn 8 for the very last time. Janis Fichter and David Yarn looking to take another win. It would be their 2nd win of the season in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Just another 6 corners remaining for car 31. And Mike David Ortman, we're keeping one eye on him in 7th place as he and Hugo Sasser now close to retaining their championship in the ADAC GT4 Germany. The challenges up and down the pack continue. Further back on this, the final lap of the race. Out into turn 17 we come. It's Janis Fichter who crosses the line to take the win ahead of Denis Bulatov in 2nd place. Leighton Fury in 3rd place. Then it'll be Henrik Still. We look for car number 1 to come around the corner in just a few moments, because when it does, it will be Hugo Sasser and Mike David Ortman who become champions once again in the ADAC GT4 Germany. A historic win. They become the first driver pairing ever to retain a championship in ADAC GT4 Germany. You can see how much it means. Emotions start to flow. I spoke to Mike David Ortman very briefly this morning. He looked tense. He didn't want to jinx anything. He didn't want to predict anything. But but he's done it, along with Hugo Sassa, and historic position. They crossed the line in 7th place. They kept out of trouble. That's all they needed to do. And you can see how much this means. They didn't dare to dream the Sachsenring back in September when they'd won 5 out of 6 races at that particular circuit over the last 3 years. They didn't even want to think about the possibility of the championship, but they must have been mulling it over for the last month, 5 weeks, however long ago it was, thinking, we are so close. Denis Bulatov did all that he could. He came so close, but it wasn't going to be enough. He'll get a podium out of this race, but it's going to be car number 1 who takes position number 1 in the championship. Brilliant stuff. ADAC GT4 Germany. Pro Sport Racing. Congratulations in the pit, Christoph Esser's team, who do a wonderful job fielding so many cars, encouraging young talent. David Yarni, Janis Fischer, that's the headline on the race. Mark DiVincenzo, Denis Bulatov, Max Osten and Leighton Fury. Great job for 3rd ahead of Max Kronberg and Hedrick Still. Jan-Philipp Springhoff, Simon Conor-Pribben 5th. Nikolai Mollemads and Ivan Ekelchik, good job for 6th place. Hugo Sassa, Mike David Ortmann in 7th become champions. Ahead of Nico Hanske and Max Janssen. Marit Bockmann and Raphael Renhofer. What a battle they put up for 9th place. Ahead of Tim Wright and Leon Vassavera. Marat Kairoff, great comeback from Gabriel Piana. Didn't even mention him as he came from the back of the grid to finish in 11th place. Ahead of car 66 with Philip Viskirchen at the wheel, and he was sharing with Marcus Aischella. They were ahead of Ferdinand Winter and Fabio Rao, so good job for them. Then it was Philip Gogolok and Dominic Schack who were in 14th place, and the last of the point scorers was the 35 car with Enzo Juli and Sami Matti Trogan at the wheel. So 2 champions here then. David Yarn, Janis Fischer, the champion of this race, but Hugo Sassa, Mike David Ortmann, the champions once again of ADAC GT4 Germany. Brilliant stuff. The light started to fade here at the Hockenheimring, which is why the race has been slightly shortened. Don't think it would have made any difference to the final result. Mike David Ortmann has now regathered himself. I should think Hugo Sassa will be waiting in the pit lane for him. This driver duo who not only share driving duties with each other, but are absolute best friends. The donuts arrive. Mike David Ortmann, well, he picks the nice slippery part of the drag strip where there is absolutely no grip whatsoever, so there won't be a lot of smoke there, I don't think. But the celebrations, car number 1, position number 1, and his good friend Hugo Sassa will be waiting for him in the pits. They just work so well together. They are such a good combination. They understand each other. There is Mark DiVincenzo, who will offer condolences and congratulations to Denis Bulatov. It was always going to be a bit of a long shot to take this championship into tomorrow. There is David Yarn, who did the qualifying, and Janis Fischer, who brought it home. And all the credit to 3rd place, though. Leighton Fury and Max Osten, the 2 drivers, last year's champion and this year's champion in the BMW M2 Cup, showing how that series is nurturing the talent, feeding them into the GT4. I would love to see that duo together, either in GT4 or even GT3 next year. Wouldn't that be a great prospect? Certainly the up-and-coming superstars. We're on board with Mike David Ortmann. Right, where's Hugo? Because Hugo will be waiting to greet him. I have no doubt about that. And Mike David Ortmann. Just there is Leighton Fury and Hans Bergkampf, the man who has nurtured his career through the BMW M2 Cup, just congratulating him there off camera. Mike David Ortmann, when he's shaking his head, is it disbelief? I think it probably is. He undoes the belts and he will wait for his co-driver to appear, and I think there will be a big hug. There will be exchange between the 2 of them. What a season it's been. When they recorded a non-finish in their first race of the season at Oschersleben, and it looked like the wheels were coming off the wagon. In fact, they didn't even complete a lap in the first race of the season at Oschersleben. They ended up in the gravel trap, and they came back and won the second race of the season at Oschersleben, but it did look as though retaining their championship was going to be a long shot. We always thought these two were going to be contenders, and they were for much of the season. And Janis Fitcher and David Jahn, so strong. They had the dreaded punctures at the Sachsenring. There is Dennis Bulatov. He shrugs his shoulders. He knew it was a long shot. And there is Mark Di Fulgenzio. They've proven to be very good together. There is Mike David Ortman. So we're spreading our cameras around here because we want to see all the emotion, don't we? Under the lights of the podium, the darkness starts to set in at the Hockenheimring this wonderful autumnal Saturday afternoon. We welcome to the podium Leighton Fury and Max Osten. Who'd have believed it? Car 54 for Project One, taking the third step of the podium. Dennis Bulatov, gracious in defeat, but picks up second place on the podium for Eastside Motorsport, along with Mark Di Fulgenzio. Top step of the podium, though, will go to ADAC WS Motorsports, Janis Fitcher and David Jahn. A great job by them, a solid job. They controlled the race, lots of pressure, but they kept it together. And ADAC WS Motorsports, they send a representative to the podium as well. And then we take a deep breath before we listen to the national anthem. So the national anthem done and dusted. I'm looking at the junior standings, and Simon Conner-Prim has extended his lead to some 60 points ahead of Daniel Greger and Finn Zulauf. So that one is put to bed. And I don't think that Max Janssen, well, he is third in category in the junior standings. So that makes him unable to catch as well. So I think Simon Conner-Prim has also tied up the junior standings as a result of that result. The fifth place, and he really worked hard for that. So Simon Conner-Prim, I'm pretty sure, subject to confirmation, that the junior category has gone in his direction too. There are the trophies that presented. The taller and the shorter Max Osten, along with Leighton Fury, with that third place. ADAC WS Motorsport, who do so much in the ADAC GT4 Germany, fielding 4 cars and really helping to promote this series, which is an absolute head-turner, pure entertainment all the way in the ADAC GT4 Germany. And as the light starts to fade here at the Hockenheimring, the final celebrations of the day commence. The champagne is spraying, but we still have one more race left tomorrow. The Drivers' Championship is decided. The Junior Championship is decided. We still need to get confirmation on the Trophy Championship, but the Team Championship's still up and running. It's all to play for. Tomorrow, the gloves are off. The drivers are going to be fighting for glory. It will be the 12th race, the final race of the season. Join us tomorrow afternoon here at the Hockenheimring. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.